Have you ever looked in your life and thought, this isn't how I imagined it would turn out? Maybe it was a career that didn't work out, or a relationship that ended, or you're simply in a completely different place from what you expected. So, our book today starts with that feeling.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paper Society, a community for those who loves books and loves to yap like us.
Hi, I'm Aya,
I'm Anin.
and today we'll be your friends talking about the second book in our podcast, and title When
When
Things
things
Don't
don't
Go
go
Your
your
Way
way,
by
Haemin
Haemin
Sunim.
Sunim.
So this book is really different compared to the first book that we did.
Yeah.
By Dale Carnegie. This
Mhm.
book really talks about life. And the first chapter is titled When Things Don't Go Your Way.
Yeah.
What really stuck with you throughout
Ooh.
this whole reading the chapter?
Reading this chapter. So the first chapter was kind of divided into like three sections.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that stuck with me the most was the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The one where they were talking about why we are unhappy. So it they basically delve deeper into the reasons why we are so withheld with the stresses in our life that causes us to be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically stemming from the idea that when we are in control of something, then we are happier that way. But because we can't control everything in
Mm-hmm.
life, we tend to be unhappy about that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that really resonated with me, especially as someone who grew up having to feel like a sense of control in order to keep the peace for everyone, or just to keep happy, be like
Mm-hmm.
happy for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that really stood out for me. What about you?
So yours is more like when expectations doesn't match reality, that's when we become unhappy.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it for me.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was more. So this book was really written by a monk,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the values inside the book was really like the core values of Buddhism,
Yeah.
and I feel like I have always grown up with those values.
Mm-mm-mm.
So one thing that really stuck
Stuck with
with
me.
me
Yeah.
was the concept of impermanence, that nothing is permanent
Yeah.
in life, and when things don't go the way we expect them to, maybe it's the universe's way of telling us that it's not the path that we were meant to take.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really confirms my belief.
Right.
And so the universe really gives us what we need, even if it's not
Mm.
what we want, but maybe the universe will give us what we need in the right timing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but this book has quotes in between the
Yes, it
chapters.
does.
Do you have
Yeah.
like any favorites?
That's kind of hard to choose because I like how all the quotes somehow resonate with bits and pieces of my
Mm-hmm.
life. Like, just all of them are so well intertwined in the book, and it kind of makes you think of the
Mm-hmm.
past. But one quote that really stuck with me was this one where it says, "Pain teaches you lessons and pleasure doesn't."
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this case, it teaches you life lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And looking back at all the experience that I've had, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned comes from having to feel pain first.
Mm.
Whereas the pleasures and the joys of life come after going through that pain and being able to process it properly, and being able to just kind of slowly let go of that. And then I start accepting like the joy and the pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain comes first, and then the lessons come after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like the most important part. What
Mm-hmm.
about you? Which quote?
I think for me it's this one. I have to read this one.
Mm-hmm.
Pray not from a place of scarcity, but from a mindset of abundance and gratitude, as the universe is more likely to respond to what you are, not what you want. So
Oh.
I think a lot of times the mindset of a scarcity means that you keep on thinking from a place of, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
grass is
yeah.
always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
But a mindset of gratitude is appreciating what you have.
Right.
It's different from like, oh, I like not having a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we do have goals,
Mm-hmm.
but as we strive towards that goal, we also appreciate the journey that we are, the process that we are going through.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense, especially with, again, you grew up having these Buddhism beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and the what's it called, like the way they teach life
Mm-hmm.
and the way their mannerisms and such. And I think that's completely different with the way I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, again, we're like completely different religions. So
Yeah.
I grew up having this like certain entity that I had to pray towards, and there are certain things that I needed to follow, not regulations in a way, but just like beliefs also that will bring me to eventually a divine truth, like a divine nature. But that also kind of causes me to have that mindset of
Mm-hmm.
the scarcity mindset that you were talking about, because it's always continuously comparing between what I have and what other people have. Like, am I religious enough? Am I good enough? Like,
Mm.
because you're always, especially in modern society, it kind of builds on that, like, I want what they have
Yeah.
instead of being grateful for what I have at the moment.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
especially with social media,
Oh yeah.
every day, with social media, you see the highlights of people's
Yeah.
life. You see all the good stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
achievements,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it makes you, feel like, oh, why can they do this and why can't I
Yeah.
have what they have? And I think
Yeah.
that also kinds of, really, what's it called, nurtures the scarcity
Scarcity mindset.
mindset.
And
Yeah.
I'm also very guilty for this, because it's also something that's very hard to get rid of,
Mm.
especially if you grew up having that scarcity mindset. And it's also the result, like the causation of why we as a community sometimes can't move forward. It's because we're
Yeah.
stuck in that, why can't we have what they have, instead of
Mm-hmm.
being grateful for what we already have and
Mm-hmm.
nurture it into something better, because
Yeah.
we still struggle with it.
Have you ever had a moment where life goes completely different than you planned? I'm sure you have a lot of those though. But
Yeah.
what's that one thing that really stuck with you?
Mm. I think one thing that really kind of will change the entire path of my life was the moment I chose to go to Japan for university.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially my plan was I wanted to be a food scientist. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to this school in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working my grades up for it, and I was like doing the best that I could, just like trying to get there, like trying to get
Okay.
a slot. And initially I was like offered a conditional offer.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get a certain amount of grades for me to be able to kind of maintain my seat,
Okay.
kind of. But I eventually didn't get those grades, and I
Mm-hmm.
was not able to go, which
Mm-hmm.
then gave me two other options. Sorry, three other options. Either I gap year and
Mm-hmm.
wait the next year and apply again
Okay.
with a different set of scores, or I wait for the acceptance in the Indonesian university for food science, which
Mm-hmm.
eventually I did get accepted to, but I found out too late because I already accepted the offer to go to Japan
Mm-hmm.
at that point. So looking back, I eventually had to go to Japan anyways, because I thought it was better opportunity in that sense. And it was also like a scholarship, like, why not? At this point, there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing clear in the air. And so as a person who's like, I needed to be clear before I graduate. I graduate high school. Like I need to find a uni.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, you know what? I'll just go with the one that's secure. I'll just go with
Okay.
the one that's like, oh, I'm just gonna go there.
Mm-hmm.
Biar jelas gitu.
Mm.
Um,
But looking back, would you
yeah.
do it all over again?
Would I do it all over again? Mm, to be honest, if I could go back and like change the perspective of my score, or like
Mm-hmm.
change things like that, that would ensure me to get into that uni, because
Mm-hmm.
again, that's like my dream. That's like
Mm-hmm.
a big goal of mine. I would if I could, but if I went back and I still had the same set of scores, I still had the same options laid out in front of me, I would still choose to go to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But was I sad about it? Yes, I was really sad about it. Of course, like who wouldn't be sad that they got essentially denied from going to their dream school?
You're human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, what about you? Do you have any similar stories like that?
Oh, so as a J, MBTI, right?
Yeah.
MBTI, we have J's.
Are we both Jays?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay,
maybe.
anyways, yeah.
Anyways,
You're J.
I'm a J, so I have to plan things.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when I first got into the uni in Japan, I have always planned to go to an exchange university, even though I didn't know what university I wanted to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wanted to go on an exchange
Right.
program.
Yeah.
And when it came to choosing which university we wanted to go to, I chose Copenhagen Business School, which was a popular university for our major.
Oh.
So compared to my other friends, I had to go to the like extra mile. I had to
Mm-hmm.
do interviews with the
Mm-hmm.
dean and such,
Oh, wow.
and it was quite tough. And I got chosen to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
But what happened that time was it was COVID, and we weren't really allowed to go into Europe yet because we were in Japan and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
university
yeah,
was
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Denmark. So the regulation was still unclear on
Mm-hmm,
whether we
mm-hmm.
can go or not. So they kept postponing our departure date.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to wait out,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
but I figured the more I wait, the more opportunities like scholarships or like organization activities
Mm-hmm.
that I will miss out on. That's why
Mm.
I eventually I canceled my.
Oh, you withdrew.
I withdrew from the
Oh.
program, and then I stayed in Japan. But I think looking back, I would still do it all over again
Mm-hmm.
because um, because of that decision, I met my ex, and I also were more active in my organization and also
Yeah.
in my part-time job, and it got me like several experiences that I wouldn't have gotten if I had
Did the
did the
exchange.
exchange.
Mm.
Yes, and I feel like yeah, I would still do it all over again.
Right.
But really, I think the question this chapter poses was, if we cannot control what happens in life, then what can we control?
Mm.
Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, good question. I think the thing is though, again, going back to the my first point
Mm-hmm.
about like why are we unhappy?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the one thing that we can control is the way we react to things. And
Yes.
this is also something I'm like still learning to
Mm-hmm.
do because
Mm-hmm.
again, I am human. I am only human. I can only
Yes.
control so many emotions at a time. But I think also just the prospect of managing your emotions and your anger and your
Mm-hmm.
expectations to things
Mm-hmm.
that will greatly change your gratitude towards something or
Yes.
the way you accept things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the same for
Yeah.
me. I mean, like, I think the way the your mindset and the meaning that you put into these setbacks,
Mm-hmm.
these delays, these detours, is what can really help you like be at peace
Yeah,
with
exactly.
life.
Yep.
Like for example, I'm in sales, right? And in
Mm-hmm.
sales, not every proposal gets accepted, and I cannot control the decision of my clients. I can only
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
do my best
Right.
to like give solutions for them.
Right.
But if they don't want to like take my proposal, then it's really their decision and I cannot control that. But
Yeah.
I think not every rejection means that I'm in the wrong path in life, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I like really resonated with the chapter.
Yeah, I think I understand that sentiment, especially because I've recently just started doing internships,
Mm-hmm.
and at the ripe age of 25,
Okay.
this is my first internship, and I
Mm-hmm.
think if I were to go back in time and
Mm-hmm.
like go through the process again, and this is like related back to like my previous story of
Yeah.
like being in uni, if I had to go through the same things and I had to do the internship at 21, which is would probably be the proper age
Yes.
of someone being in this year in this
Yes.
semester, then I'd have to go through the things I'm going through now. And knowing me back then, I would not have been able to control the way I reacted to certain things,
Mm.
like not as well as I can now.
Mm-hmm.
Because after I've gone through the uni in Japan and I've gone through the experience of working part time, of working with other people, of going through essentially bachelor's degree twice,
Uh-huh.
it's like it has prepped me and has allowed me to grow into a more emotionally mature or like
Mm-hmm.
just more well prepared to enter the workforce. If
Yes.
I compared it to back when I was 21, I would probably be freaked out. Like I probably would be still in the corner crying. Like we would not be recording this podcast right now because just of the wimp I am. But just purely just unable to control the way I react to certain things because obviously there are these people who are way older than me and I like respect them
Mm-hmm.
for the work that they do. But can you imagine the gap between, let's say I'm 25 and like they're probably what, early 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a shorter age gap. That's like a 5-year age gap,
Yeah.
which is pretty normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if I'm like a 21-year-old and I'm just like not able to even ask the have the guts to
Yeah.
say like, hey, what can I do? Like I'm here, just like just like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just grateful that I'm experiencing this now at 25 when I am more ready compared to when I was younger. And I'm just grateful that the life that has the lemons that they have thrown me, just like I'm going through it now at this age rather than back
Mm,
then. Mm-mm.
okay. But I think
Mhm.
I keep saying, but I think.
No, I mean you do think it's your opinion.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole thing. Like that's the whole
Mhm.
lesson that I could really like resonate with, and I will really carry
Yeah.
with me. Like I think for me,
Mm-mm.
the lesson that really stuck. I keep saying stuck with
I
me,
mean, it is stuck with you.
but it is stuck with me.
You will bring with you.
I will bring with me
Mhm.
is that not every detour, not every setback,
Yeah.
not every failure means that you are on the wrong path in life. Maybe that's the
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
path that you were meant to take
Yeah.
because the universe will always
Mm-hmm.
give you the things that you need,
Yeah.
even if it's not what you want.
Yeah. There's actually this poem that I've been learning because I have to teach it for like my other part-time job for like tutoring kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called The Road Not Taken by
Mm-hmm.
Robert Frost. And it's essentially talking about how there are always different paths in life, and the road not taken will always be something you are going to think of because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to think of the what ifs. But the road not taken is the road you chose to take because you choose not to
Not to
take that
take
path.
it. Yeah.
And I think that's such an incredible lesson to learn. Just to
Mm-hmm.
like, just because you're not choosing that path doesn't mean that you are going to regret it. It just means that you chose not to take that path because you know you are in the right one,
Yes.
kind of like
I
that.
think that's good.
And yeah. But for me, I think one thing I'm gonna carry out through this week, and I think that's something we're going to try and keep like
Keep trying
trying
throughout this
to
whole book.
throughout
Yeah.
this whole book is that we're gonna find lessons and like try to implement them every week. For Onion, it was that earlier. For
Mm-hmm.
me, this week I'm going to try to stop comparing my current reality with my what ifs. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of related to the like poem earlier as
Mm-hmm.
well because I have the tendency to like, what if I was in a different job, like what if I was here, what if I was there. But I should just stop thinking about the what ifs and start being grateful for the position I am in right now,
Mm-hmm.
because again, so many people would be so grateful to be in the position I'm in, and I
True.
should start accepting that. And it's part of my like learning to be accepted, part of learning acceptance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it
Yeah.
for our fifth episode.
Fifth episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Good start to our book
The
right now.
second book that we're reading.
Mm-hmm. And next week we're gonna dive deeper into our emotions
Mm-hmm.
because I
The
think it's about the heart. What is it?
when your heart is aching.
Oh, okay. We are going to dive into the nitty gritty of our emotions next week. All right. So, with that said, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like our video and subscribe to the YouTube if you have not already. You can also not subscribe, follow
Follow.
our Instagram and TikTok at Paper Society Co. If you do want to be our podcast host, maybe, or you have ideas for new books, or you have questions, or you have maybe an outline of like what we should talk about in our next episode, please leave a comment down below or private DM us in any of our socials. And with that, we'll see you in our next episode. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.